So we are still kind of looking to see where these boys will take the match. I'm hoping that Solar is going to be able to, you know, show what he's worth. Been hearing it, especially Autosis and stuff during the GSL, of course, they always, Solar, we know he's good. We know he's much better than that. He's showing usually in the GSL and stuff, those tournaments, but he's a very sporadic player in a way. It seems like he is the epitome of just inconsistency in a way. Right? Sometimes he looks like just the absolute best. And then sometimes it's just like, alright, well that just fell short on so many places. I think that's a fair assessment for Solar. I think he gets very nervous with a lot of things. Trap's just kind of one of those guys that you know what you're getting into when you're watching his games, right? Most of the time, things are gonna be running pretty smoothly. 2 adepts. Not finding any drones just quite yet. Looks like he is trying to be defensive with them anyway right now. Sorry, the Void Ray. Void Ray trouble. Going around harassing all sorts of wild nature creatures. Like the blue, brown, air combustible jellyfish in the sky. Oracle also now a part of this. Very quickly a second Stargate with the air weapon upgrade also. Looks like Trap just starting to bring it into the Air Protoss army that we all know and love so well right now. Still a bit of still some stuff, right, that could deviate with these types of players. Some of them like to go into the Tempest a little bit quicker, or try to. Some of them like to just stick onto the Void Rays. We've seen all sorts of different Stargate plays. But Stargate's pretty much a staple right now. You probably want to get it at some point in time, especially in the PvZ matchup. It's funny how before that, it kind of was more so just in case your Zerg opponent makes Mutalisk and you'll just have it around so you can start the Phoenix production sooner. Now it feels like it's just so much good stuff for, you know, that you can get out of that Stargate eventually anyway, that may as well start investing into it early. Gives you a lot less trouble when you try to make a transition into the fleet beacon, right? Which is what we are seeing right now. Circling's going in for a bit of a scout. Want to figure out what's happening in the base of Trap. Okay, main base. No, third. Never mind. It's all protected. Solo not finding anything here. Oh, wow. The 4 Void Rays. That is going to be cancelled. Oh, gold base minerals for Solar today. At least not for a little bit. Highly doubt those Void Rays will just sit idly by and let it be built this time around, though. We'll need to find some sort of a solution to this problem here for Solar. Looks like his solution for the time being going to consist out of these queens. Attempting to get some more creep spread around this area might be a good idea. Of course, against those Void Rays, make it a bit more doable to fight them with the queens. 4th base for Trap. Pretty early on here. Going in conjunction with the timing of the Zerg's 4th base. While he's still getting all those carriers as well. Void Race on the top, Void Race on the bottom. Just having a pretty swell time of Void Racing. What's this? How did I miss this? That is a lot of Mutalisk all of a sudden. We do have carriers still in that production queue, so probably want to wait until they are out of there and then you can start up some Phoenix. At least I'm assuming that is going to be the plan. Unless, no, we are playing mono battles. Almost. It feels like he's like, you know what, let's just get more Void Race. He is clearly trying to force me into Phoenix. And I'm not falling for it. I won't have any of that. You clearly want me to try and counter Mutalisk here, and I will not do it. That's pretty cool. He sticks around his own shield batteries, his cannons. Has the carriers now as well. The carriers a bit better against Mutalisk, I would say, rather than the Void Race. Mutalisk still a threat though, of course. You won't be able to catch him without the Phoenix. You'll be able to keep your area safe as long as you have the majority in your favor by a large enough margin. You should be able to... Oh dear, those Mutalisks standing still there at the wrong time. Did none of them die? Crazy. Crazy. Some of them must have died before with the initial attacks, but... Only 4 of them, yeah. So that is... He made 11. 11 Mutalisk. And that's it. That's all she wrote. A lot of Zerglings here. Probably trying to ramp up for a counter-attack as soon as those Void Racing carriers start moving about. Start trying to intermingle with the Zerg species across the map. Actually, keeping the Zerglings here for the time being. There's some Zealots and Adepts here underneath as well. And alright, I mean, they are kind of famously known as the killers of the Zerglings, but an entire swath of Zerglings were still utilized then. They keep the Queen safe, so, you know, it's not like they were just useless. It's just that they didn't trade efficiently. And, oh, wow, that's unfortunate. Come on, Mutalisk! Yes! Oh, imagine that. Imagine being able to recall home successfully, like, oh, that was a close shave, and then, so, we're under attack again. No, we just jumped away. Must have been a lot of confusion on that capital ship right there. Circling still just kind of hanging out. We have to get, yeah, okay, so +2 air weapons is about to finish up. Air weapons for this type of army is crazy strong, right? Like, air weapon upgrades for carriers, it is immense. It is, like, the best units that, like, just for upgrades overall, the unit that benefits the most, it feels, I'm fairly certain that's the case. Because their rate of fire is ridiculous. And then they have all those interceptors, and all those interceptors get the extra damage. So you get like extra damage times how many like just whatever amount of interceptors you have. Instead of just the 1 for each attack that you do, because you have like 25 extra things attacking at the same time. So it's crazy. It's crazy. Right, comes in here. Top side looking pretty secure so far. Solar is a player that will just turtle this out though. He is a player that loves to play it safe. He doesn't like to get aggressive all that much. Doesn't usually work out for him. To be fair. In this kind of late game scenario, it is what he practices, right? It's what he likes to play, it would appear. Or maybe he's just assuming that this is the best way to win. That could be the case as well. Which makes this a good time for StarCraft 2, I would say, right? Still, because how long has it been since we've had any type of update? Oh boy, what's this?
Game paused.
That was lag. Yeah, that was a big lag spike all of a sudden. Guess I have time to take a bite of my sandwich. Lovely.
Game resumed.
Well. That's embarrassing. Oh no. It's still lagging. It is major lagging.
Paused.
I don't think it's me. I don't, like, I'm pretty sure. I don't have any lag.
Game resumed.
Why do you let Enki in games? What kind of question is that? He's a committed StarCraft 2 caster. Does a lot of work for the scene. There's a lot of stuff happening here, by the way. There's quite a lot of stuff happening here, by the way. That is the entire fleet of the Protoss now in the main base of the Zerg. The top side, that is a ton of Brute Lords scrambling up this area right now as the main army, okay, that did get recalled. Side, okay, find some nice moments there. Good amount of infestors there as well. Hoping he doesn't lose this for free. We'll have to take a gander at the resources lost tab in a moment, and also gotta love these types of little tricks, don't you? Just put down a Zergling. Oh wow! Amazingly, Solar actually trading out way favorably overall so far. And I might be wrong, but I feel like that could be by the hand of the spellcasters so far. Those fungals and parasitic bombs, they have been quite on point. So maybe that is enough for him to get some more momentum going into his favor. Because very often the Zerg is the player that will need to get more bases than the Protoss, right? Because they are the player that is not trading as efficiently. And that might still happen. That could still happen. You know, one fight going into Solar's favor doesn't mean that all the fights will go into his favor. Yeah, against Skytos, like it's certainly Skytos, just being ahead in this resources lost, that's you don't really see that as a Zerg all that often, or at all. Not that much, anyway. Maybe I've just been seeing the wrong games. I don't know. I feel like it's gonna start going into Trap's favor. I would imagine it would, right? On forwards, we have a couple of fungals trying to keep the High Templar at bay. As the High Templar eyeing up the juicy queens, of course, for the feedbacks, as well as the infestors, the vipers, all of the jazz. A couple of ultras here looking like they will be dealt with rather quickly. And Nexus on the top side does get spotted by the Corruptors, but No corrosive bile coming down. Might be looking to shut down this defensive setup over here. I'm not sure. We'll need to send units to the top side though. As Trap. In a way, it's kind of smart. I don't think he ever anticipated getting that base. I feel like he just wanted Solar to be busy on the top side of the map so he could try to come in on this bottom side. Or at least that's what it feels like. You gotta just keep taking them anyway, right? Just keep ping-ponging between the two locations and see who is able to ping-pong the best. Alright, Templar actually do all jump in there, but I don't think they managed to get all that much done. Still a lot of energy on a lot of infestors. And the Broodlords immediately, those Broodlings just unleashed onto the High Templar the moment they go onto the ground. Mothership gets destroyed, the first thing that has to fall every time. Cannot take that fight with the Mothership just hanging about, making everything invisible. It's not the way to win that fight, that's for sure. Trap now. Alright, let's take another look, right? Let's take another look. And, well, the gap is closing, right? Percentage-wise, it's still pretty good, actually. Gas-wise in particular. Doing well. Oh, wow, he gets 2 more carriers there. That is crazy. Doing really good. Very solid stuff right now. Gotta be careful here. Tempest attempting to gain the upper hand in the war of attrition, but failing to do so at this moment in time. Don't have any High Templar as their defensive units here. Bringing in some new ones, some fresh High Templars, but transforming them into Archons pretty quickly. It just doesn't seem like Trap able to get those feedbacks off of the Infestors and such when he needs to. Now Solar claiming the top side. We have Trap attempting to kind of SimCity his way upwards with a slow cannon and shield battery push. He'll just grab whatever he can, I suppose, right? A good amount of... Let's see the army tab here, actually, for the people that like that type of thing as well. What kind of numbers are you looking for in these types of scenarios, right? So 6 queens, 8 infestors, 3 vipers, 21 corruptors still, and 8 broodlords. And then some zerglings and a ultralisk to be in the mix as well. So a lot of extra units here coming in. All those void rays for Mr. Trap. 20 of them now have been created. Aiming to... Oh, there we go. There's the feedbacks. Finally being able to protect his main army that way. Alright, sorry guys, I had to ban someone. Alright, we have ourselves a big fight here. The Void Rays coming in. Need to get those fungals and the parasitic bombs overall. This is a very good fight for Solar. Yeah, that just is not working out for Trap at all. Over here, the Stalkers trying to get underneath the Broodlords overall. It's just not going to work out anymore. Ultralisk and Zerglings as well in this base. Already destroyed and devastated. probes falling. These stalkers will be able to clean this up, but that was a rough trade. That was a rough trade. No value at all being achieved there. Is this going to be any effect at this moment in time? Trap stuck on a Stalker army. That's usually the last legs that the Protoss units have to stand on. The Stalker's bringing a comeback after the early game. We have Disruptors as well, trying to be constructed, but I mean, he's still up against Broodlords, right? Yeah, he's up against 10 Broodlords. His Stalkers are getting fungled. And he's just losing more and more, it seems. Top side, alright, maybe this might be the moment. These Broodlords, they need to get Blunk underneath. It's pretty good. No, real Broodlord dies though. That's a shame. Lightning Cloud immediately just shuts it all down. Great Disruptor shots, but it's all a little too late. Protoss army on the top, gone. Bottom side, once again, being just devastated by Zergling Raiders. Look at that, Changelings shutting down the retreating path. As Solar's just kind of styling on this opponent right there a little bit. Brings back the Herd Broodlords for a nice bit of transfusion, I suppose. Waits for them to recuperate their, well, reinforcing units as well as the HP points of their own. Take another look at that resources lost tab. I imagine it would be looking pretty good now. Yes, wow. Solar doing a bang up amazing job right now. The control has been spectacular. Like, he hasn't been winning this just by lucky moments in a way, right? No, he has been on top of it. He was casting those spells endlessly, getting the neurals, well, not the neurals, sorry, the fungals, parasitic bombs, getting the blinding cloud on those stalkers the moment they blink in, not losing a single Broodlord there. Are you kidding me? I think everyone is, you know, a little bit let down by the mothership in a way, because like it is like the first thing you have to target down, right? There's no question about it. You can't just take the fight without gunning that down first. And that's why we never really see it do that much. Or not really contribute to the fight all that much, because it just gets taken down immediately. I suppose you can make a case like, well, it's forcing this kind of gameplay where the Vipers, they have to pick it off, and then you have your High Templar in between. So a lot of the fighting already takes place before the actual fight happens, right? In a sense, the battle for trying to kill off that mothership with a positional battle just doesn't look as action-packed and filled for the untrained eye in a sense, right? Just a couple of units kind of skirting the edges of vision here and there, and then suddenly the mothership just dies. Or we get a couple of feedbacks and it's like, alright, we'll try again later, right? And that's kind of the action moment that you get from those situations. But yeah, anyway, that's my take on that. Anyway, let's just introduce these players. Bottom right, Kaiser Gaming, Solar, he's a Zerg. As you can see, this is the Zerg, if you weren't aware. In the top left side, there's another race. It's another alien race. It's the Protoss. It's the red one. The red ones this time around. It is Trap. Alright. So yeah, I would like the mothership to, because you want it to be strong, but you don't want it to be just the thing that you have to always target down first. Otherwise, it's just a GG in a sense, right? You gotta find that nice sweet spot, that balance. So I don't think it can, I don't think it should be making everything invisible. Like, something like that, right? Because that is just already such a trigger. Like, alright, well, you just have to take it down now. Otherwise, you risk losing this game in a very, very silly way. Stargate play once again for Trap. Let's see, will be the Void Ray. As Solar is doing the regular good old droning up as much as you can while playing Zerg. No, did this Overlord see? No. No. Yet. Depths though. Oh, nice little block with that one little drone there. That is a savior drone, I would say. I think we could have lost 2 or 3 more if that little drone didn't stop them from wiggling themselves in between the mineral patches. Circling Scout, see the 3rd base for Trap coming up as well. Solar just still droning. I mean, you can get away with the drones at this moment in time, right? He's seen the Void Ray, he knows that it's very likely to be the same thing again. Well, you got to be very careful with those assumptions, of course, but you know, he's seeing very similar things. There's an Oracle here once again, getting 3 kills. That's more than I thought he would. Trying to get the other one as well, but shooed away by those queens this time around. Did he ever see the secondary? No, he never really got a look into the main base at all, actually. So yeah, he's still anxious to get a bit of a scout going. Somewhat of a read. Only... ooh, he's gonna get in. There we go. That is very solid for Solar. Trap there, opening up the door a little bit. The Adept thinking it was over. And then suddenly the Zerglings rotating around back again. Finding out absolutely everything they need to know. It's like, oh, you're making the Void Rays again. Alright. Now, is Solar's response going to be different in any sense this time around? We'll have to see. Ooh, Adepts. Nice block with the Evo Chamber. Zerglings are here. Want to get that final Adept. Come on. Come on, little lings. There we go. Catching that prey. I'm still getting a couple of drones. Not bad, not bad. Losing the Adepts, though. But trading out alright so far. Zerglings got to be careful. He's been sending in his Zerglings like that for a couple of times now. Trying to just see the army composition of Trap over and over again, I imagine. Checking whether or not those Zerglings may even be able to get a run by going. Void Rays coming into the 4th base once more. Surprise, surprise, it's not a gold base, but you know what? It's still dead. Well, cancelled. Close enough. Trying to get themselves into the main base. Should be completely fine here for Solar. The Void Rays. Yeah, they're a little bit stuck. No, never mind. The Queen's not patrolling to the bottom side there enough. Oh, wait. Okay, recall. That is fine. Spire play will be once again a thing here for Solar. Wondering if we're going to see that quick Muta switch once again. Just a bunch of Mutalisk all of a sudden. When you're up against this amount of Void Race, it kind of makes sense, right? To go for the Mutalisk instead of Corruptus. Wouldn't mind seeing it, but at the same time... Is it gonna be enough? He doesn't have... Well, he does have 12k gas right now, so I'm assuming if it's gonna happen, it's probably around this time period. Still nothing. Still nothing. Guess he just wants to get the Great Aspire? I don't even know. He could be making Corruptus if your plan is to go for Broodlords, but... Why would you go for Broodlords already right now without a real solid answer against those Void Rays? Alright. Well, it is going to be the Great Aspire. And there's the Corruptus. Corruptor Queen versus the Void Ray it is. Fair enough. Fair enough. So hope that is going to be working out for him. Let's take a look on the Zerg side of things. Reasonable chunk of roaches and Zerglings, but with the Archons there, those Zerglings probably not going to be able to do too much. Want to get a good proper surround on all those units as quickly as possible. Trap, how far out of this choke point is he going to go? Doing a pretty good job so far, steering himself into a safe area. And with more Zealots there, it opens up his possibilities even more so. 2 Disruptor shots there, not really finding too much. Entire hatchery goes down here by the hands of a couple of Zealots. Zerglings trying to bring that to peace. Still kind of struggling on this area though, or at least being put under a lot of pressure. Trying to keep all the attention pinpointed to this area. Here is Trap. Solar just waiting for those Broodlords right now, though. This is quite a good amount of Broodlords. Most of the Queens go down, though, and that means we don't really have an answer against those Void Rays. Well, then. This is weird. That's a bit sad. GG is called. Right, there we go. Scoreboards updated. Top right side, a red Protoss. A red Protoss. Representing the one and only. A freak of freaks. It's Trap. Should probably censor that before I zoom in, huh? Nice. Oh well. Oh well. Shortest 2 minutes ever. Yeah, it really was. I don't know what happened to the break. Apparently Solar and Trap just wanted to keep going, and I guess Inu, collapsed underneath the pressure. Bottom left side, a blue Zerg player fighting for Kaisi Gaming. He is Solar. Now we wait for bloodshed to unfold. Here for good games. That's right. That's right. Here for good games is for the treasure box. So apparently, I don't know if it's that specific message, or if you just have to type things. But yeah, it has to do with a treasure chest, which you can gain prizes on Trovo, and then you can, like, I believe you can get points on Trovo to be able to spend on streamers, which is basically like the equivalent of money, right? So like the equivalent of bits in Twitch, as I understand it anyway. Okay. Trap sticking true to his guns once again. We'll have the Stargate coming up. Little Little probe chase being given up upon. Notice that should be an adept coming in pretty soon. Doesn't have the speed. Those Zerglings, they can be quite valuable in case there's suddenly an adept somewhere in your base. Neither of these players quite fully aware of what is happening in the opponent's base so far. Solar looks like he will be having a pretty good idea though. As the overlords. Alright, there we go. Now commits. And finds himself a Void Ray. I mean, it's just a matter of time until those two find each other, right? It's like soulmates, basically. But then, instead of soulmates, people who love each other, it's like two people who always, you know, will end up one having killed the other. Oh, Drone's in a bit of trouble here, being pulled off to fight against these adepts, and he's losing a couple of them right now. 5 of them go down. For 2 adepts, you know what, just on the 4-minute mark. That's pretty good for Trap right there. Actually, Solar only on 15 workers already now, as he was committed to a roach attack here. I guess the 2 adepts won't be there to help out in the defense anymore, which might become a problem as well. Which might be a whole different can of worms. These roaches pretty well hidden so far. The Zerglings now spilling on through right on top of that pylon. The Zealots do manage to get a warp in. So retargets. Now gets that pylon, shutting down the production of more than 50% of everything that Trap owns. Zerglings still going forward. The Void Ray should theoretically kill everything here eventually, but of course that's going to be quite a while. It's going to be quite a cleanup. These probes in ever so much problems. See if we can get some more of them to be saved here by Trap. A nice little juke going back around. Oh, that is rough. That is rough. I think that could just be a quick 2-1 score here being brought home for Solar. He brought the work account of Trap even further down than out of his own. Trap's got to be careful overall with what he shows and what he doesn't show. Probably doesn't want to throw something at a well-experienced opponent such as Solar either. Right? Doesn't just want to go improvise from this point onwards. It might work better though than just straight up going into the Sky Army again. It does seem like Solar kind of starting to get the hang on how to play against that specifically. Managing to dismantle it twice already out of the 3 times. Of course, that is potentially going to be put down to a 50-50 after this game if we were to have Trap once again go for the Stargate. And everything looks exactly the same so far out of him, so there's no reason to assume anything else is going to happen, right? But yeah, I think that is going to be the case, though. We'll have Trap once again going for the Stargate. I'm calling it now. I'm double downing on this prediction. And there it is. Wow. I'm doubling down. I'm down doubling. It sounds like some sort of a Renaissance merchant or something. Down Dublin. Downy Dublin. That probe could be in trouble. Depp trying to get himself in between. Does save it. Pretty good. Trap been playing double Stargate this entire series long? Yes, he has. So I'm assuming we'll get it again here. Most likely just trying to keep all his other strategies hidden, of course. Coming in with a build maybe that he's practiced in the past. Or maybe one of the builds that he's going to be showing at the GSL. It's hard to say. With that first Void Ray out, we're kind of waiting to see whether or not it's going to be another Stargate here. Again, the double gates at the front. Into a third Nexus as well. A couple of Zerglings. There's no Ro4 this time around, right? No. Okay. Don't see that being made, at least. Solar still has to be a little bit careful, though, of course. I mean, he could just make the blind assumption that it's going to be double Stargate again, which apparently it is. But, I mean, just making that assumption could lose you a lot of other games, right? That's both adepts, alright. Sorry. For some reason in my head I was still thinking about the shade. Camera hand kind of moved on its own to the right. Checking this area out. Sees the third base. It's got to fill you up with some safety, you know. A safe, cozy feeling. Might be able to start up your tech. Get yourself a fourth base. Keep droning at a fair, you know, fair pace. Which is what we're seeing. 7, 8 drones now on that production tab. Sort of realizing, you know what, you're probably not coming for me for a while. And he is entirely correct. There might be a couple of Void Rays once again coming in to poke down that fourth base, of course. I like to see the creep spread. Would have liked it even more so if he had tried to prioritize his creep spread a bit more towards his fourth base area. So that his queens will have a less rough time trying to defending it against those full Void Rays that usually, well, tend to show up and suddenly put a stop to all construction. Kind of flowing around. +1 weapons for the air army is about to finish up. I guess we did have Solar kind of moving in with that group to his fourth base. He's just taking the fourth base on the right side, which... Alright, let me think of reasons why you would want to take this base rather than the one that's further away. Now, I like the one reason I can come up with is that it's protecting this dead space right here. So maybe it's easier now for you to have your queens over on this right side, and while they're protecting your fourth base, you're also preventing the run into the main base through that area, right, at the same time. So that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. I kind of like that decision. We'll see whether or not it works out. Or, now that it's closer to trap, will it just be eliminated at some point in time? I don't think it will be. Well, I think it's going to end before we get a chance to see whether or not it will. Solar suddenly ramping up that queen, that queen march over here. A lot of roaches and ravagers on the menu. He's going to try to break his opponents. It's going to take a while. And there is a ton of extra infrastructure being made right now. Only 44 army supply, though. Against 102. Is Trap going to be okay here? I'm not entirely convinced just quite yet. This might just be a massacre. Keeping our eye on that army supply of Solar, whether or not it's going to drop down quite rapidly here or not. Transfuse helping out a ton. Needs to keep those Ravagers alive against the ground forces that inevitably are going to be showing up here. Still haven't really been able to take much of anything out. Army supply of Solar is still kind of stable. With the reinforcements just seeping on through. Little by little. More queens even showing up right now. Transfuse energy getting rather diminished. Starting to struggle. Shield batteries on the right side protecting those void rays, as the shield batteries on the left side are protecting the ground forces. A nice little spread there from Trap, making sure that he utilizes every bit of static defense that he has invested into. Vials of solar now landing onto the last line of static defense of this natural base. He's starting to get closer and closer. 66 army supply now versus 120. About double still in favor for Solar, but of course he's on the other side of the map here. Let's see what he manages to achieve. The Void Rays get hit by a couple of Biles. The final Void Ray does get knocked down by the help of the Queens. They are very low on energy and quite low on HP, but they're still standing. 3 Immortals now, a final bastion of hope for the Protoss civilization on this planet. Is it going to be enough? Quite a couple of probes already going down. Solar still just making army units. He is committed. He feels like he can make the Protoss crack. But I'm not entirely convinced that this is going to be the push that just ends this game right here. Looking at the army of Trap right now, it's lower on supply still. But it got closer. It's no longer a doubling of the... doubling downer of the of the army supply. No, we do have Archons and an Immortal mixed in now as well. It's a lot more high value supply that Trap has. Doesn't have any sentries left anymore though, and that could cause trouble as well. Zealot run by on the right gets prevented. The 2 Oracles there moving along the top side. You know what, guys? You know what, I think this might be a bit of a problem here for Trap. This might just be a little bit too much. The Zerglings getting on top of the Immortal. The Archons on the right side, there's a lot of them. There's a lot of Roaches and Ravages here as well. They should be able to one-shot these Archons, even with the shield battery overcharge. Just gotta be careful not to also run into the cannons freely, I suppose. 10 more probes go down. Gets the pylon. There's another pylon just powering everything though. Mr. Solar will need to get that as well. Oh boy. Trap's gonna hold again here. It's not as great of a hold as the... Well, I say great, but... No, okay. He is being pushed back again. Both of these players kind of are. Alright. So Trap. Can we call this that he's stabilized now? Can we say he's stabilized? I'm not entirely convinced because there's just more and more Zerg coming. Solar, he is in a position on the full base. 60 workers versus 40. Oh, that disruptor. Wow, great splitting right there from Solar. He's been watching some Terrans play, it seems. Oh, moving in for the kill once again. Attempting, just not really going for the jugular right there on the right side. It will jump to the left where it's a lot more exposed, in fact. Disruptor short. Oh, that is massive. There might be once again enough here to safeguard this area, just even for a moment. Let's not lose that Immortal. The Archon as well goes down though. Yeah, that is it. That is it. That is too many Zerglings now for this one Immortal to take down. He's not going to be able to deal with this. There's a Disruptor. Disruptor shots. Gets 50% of all the Roach Ravages here. Never mind, 50 more percent did just show up. So it's only 33, I suppose. Still a lot. But, yeah, considering it's only 2 Roaches in this case, it's rough. It is very rough. I think we may have ourselves a victor here. I think Solar may have done it. Pushing himself through a couple of times, and now, finally, having the Roach numbers even. Oh, that was great. Transforming one of the front Roaches into a Ravager Cocoon. Making a little makeshift wall there against the Zealots. What a guy. What a guy. Another disruptor shot. I mean, Trappy's trying. Another shot right there, but yeah, there it is. GG is called. Solar takes game number 4 as well and will be able to move himself into the finals, where he'll face off against Zoun.